Mr. Bowtie's Texas High School Sports Machine is driven by Henry Finley and McCombs Ford West, a proud supporter of all area local sports. McCombs Ford West, simply the best.
I personally run into or almost take offense to is I'm an athlete. I'm not a female athlete. I'm an athlete.
What is football and basketball not complaining about that women's sports is? When you give us everything that, male sports have, so we don't have to go fight for equipment or we don't have to go fight for an increase in budget in order to be able to afford a pitching machine or whatever it is, being able to say yes because you want to believe in the female athlete and not yes simply because you have to.
Hey folks, Mr. Bowtie here. Keep banging home that subscribe button on your screen so that way you can stay up to date on all the great local sports coverage not found on TV or in a cheap web stream. And don't forget to hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Bowtie 1982. It's fast, it's free, and you're going to make my dogs think I'm the best person in the world. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. The second annual THSCA Women in Coaching panel brought together another diverse group of women who shared their experiences as players and coaches, how women's sports have grown and developed in the 50 years of Title IX, and what progress still needs to be made. The headliner on the panel was UT softball legend Cat Osterman, who shared her experiences as a player and a coach. Here are some highlights from that panel discussion, including interviews with Osterman, UIL Athletic Director Susan Elza, and Texas Tech women's basketball coach Krista Gurley.
I was dedicated, I was committed. I played professionally for a long time, coached on the side to make ends meet. 2020, ended up having to resign from my job because I couldn't take another year of paid leave in order to train. And I think, God bless my husband, he had to hear it all the time. But I'm like, man, I'm training just as hard as Tom Brady, but I don't see that the pay's not the same here. Like, people are always like, hey, you can keep playing until you're like 40. Tom's doing it. I'm like, he also can go spend $100,000 to take care of his body.
It's nice to come back here and just, share what I've learned over the course of my career with coaches and allow them to be able to obviously empower athletes, because that's where everything is taking us, is being able to empower the female athlete to be able to dream big and go do great things.
As females, I believe we've got to believe that we're competitors and we can compete at all level at any time against anybody. Now we might lose, but we're going to die trying. But I don't know, I believe in that warrior woman, that I'm going up against anybody and everybody. And the only thing, I'm not going to get a loss, I'm going to get a lesson. And what can I do with that lesson?
In college, we went from where only the World Series was aired to, by the time I was a senior, we had preseason games in California being aired, and that was something you didn't dream about the first couple years I was in school. And so over time, people have just caught on to how great of a sport it is. And so to see it grow and to see the exposure of it be so much, it's exciting and it's deserved.
You have to hire women coaches. And you have to be okay with the guy saying, you've hired a lot of women coaches. Yes, I have. And what's your point? If you are not comfortable advocating for your needs and wants, you are then teaching your women-identified athletes not to advocate for themselves.
High school softball should not be taken any different than high school baseball. And to be honest, and I know this is not popular in Texas, but yes, football's a great sport, but that shouldn't be invested in more than anything else.
What is football and basketball not complaining about that women's sports is? When you give us everything that, male sports have, so we don't have to go fight for equipment or we don't have to go fight for an increase in budget in order to be able to afford a pitching machine or whatever it is, being able to say yes because you want to believe in the female athlete and not yes simply because you have to.
People are recognizing that there are great women athletes out there that can play these sports. Women are just showing that they can play at a level that is enjoyable to watch, it's entertaining, it's very athletic, and so now I think those women that played at that level are now becoming coaches. There's been a lot more opportunity for women in sports. I mean, even with the head coaches of Power Fives, there's been a lot more opportunity for us to secure those jobs.
Not naive to the fact that I'm blessed that Title IX gave me an opportunity and I was able to make the most of that opportunity, in my opinion. I was able to play professionally for a long time and make a career out of playing softball, which wasn't something I think very many athletes before me could dream of doing. And so just being able to, say, yes, we've gotten somewhere. We have grown as female athletes in our sports, but at the same time, we still have a lot of places to go.
Today was a testimony to how popular it was last year and how many more people we had in the room this year. It can be an uncomfortable conversation, and it was way more comfortable today, and I think that they all benefited from every one of the panelists. They were outstanding and impressive and all the things you'd want them to be. Libby Pacheco, she was intentional in wanting to ask questions to the women that would affect the men. And it would also affect the men to hear from the women. And I felt like those questions were good because, the last thing you want when you come to one of these is a session of bashing men, because we have incredible men coaching women in this state. But when you're talking about increasing more women in the profession, it's just good dialogue for people to get different perspectives.
You're giving athletes an opportunity to be poured into both on and off the field, but if you're not investing in those programs with the same intensity, then you're doing a disgrace. So I think the biggest pothole is constantly viewing us as girls' sports.
The next step is the fact that female athletics are going to be seen on the same level as male athletics, because there's no difference. We're putting in the same work. We're the same type of athletes. It should be invested in the same.
Was it true that you were taking some BP off of Osterman in the parking lot and before this all started, and if so, who won?
Well, yeah, and she won all the way. I mean, I can't lay off the rise ball, and she knew it. So there you go.